It's official. Happy opening day of the Racing Festival of the South as we have 3 amazing days of racing, stakes on all 3 race cards. So I want to welcome you to Oaklawn Today show for this Friday. Nancy Holthus joining alongside track announcer Matt Dinnerman. Matt, we are on the precipice of a very big weekend.
Yes, well, we begin here with the Racing Festival of the South, 35 races in 3 days, 11 today, 14 tomorrow on Arkansas Derby Day, and then 10 more on Sunday. 10 stakes races throughout the weekend.
Yes.
If you are a racing fan and you're in Hot Springs, first of all, you're here. Second of all, even if you're not in the area, you are watching. For sure. It's a fantastic weekend. And I think the theme, Nancy, along with our big field, because we always big field, quality. That's the theme.
That is another thing. Sometimes you get the quality and not the quantity, but we've got both. So very excited for today's 11 race card. So let's first take a look at the weather page. I think it's going to be pretty for the majority of the weekend. There is just a slight chance of rain, slight being the operative word, 67 degrees, winds 10 miles out of the south-southeast, and we have a fast racing surface. As we come off some beautiful days off, absolutely gorgeous. Let's take a look at our updated our updated news page. Again, welcome to the Racing Festival of the South. The infield is open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So the infield is open. Go check it out. So much to do. Food trucks, lots of stuff for the kids, and a great place to watch the races as well. Mask Parade looks for back-to-back wins in the Temperance Hill Stakes. That is our feature on today's 11 race card, and also want to thank our Spendthrift as they are going to be matching the bell donations today. Dawn at Oaklawn tomorrow with some Arkansas Derby Day connections. There'll be just one barn tour at 7:45, and our guests will join me at 8:30. Doors open tomorrow at 10:30 with a first post of 11:26 stakes on the 14 race Arkansas Derby Day program. So we're very excited that Spendthrift Farm is our donor sponsor for our Ring the Bell this afternoon. And out of the starting gate with Matt Dinnerman, the newest episode of the podcast. Matt, what are you discussing on the most recent episode?
Yeah, we took a solo drill this week, and we talked about all the stakes, Arkansas Derby.
Nice.
And every stake we've got here this week. We got a clocker pick, a first-time starter, so
nice.
make sure to watch that, and we'll talk about that tomorrow as well, but if you want a sneak peek of that. And finally, just going over last week's stakes, Kimchi Cat Red Route 1, good stakes last week, and really a good appetizer for the entree.
Good appetizer. I like that. Perfect way to put that. Great racing analogy. Let's go ahead and get started as we do have 11 races to cycle through. Our opener is for 3-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2 races, claiming prizes $35,000, and they're going to go 6 furlongs as we do start off the first leg of the early 50-cent pick 5. Matt, what are your thoughts in the opener?
Well, the first thought I had was looking at this race, Storm's Home number 6 is the one to beat. That's the first thing I note when I look at my PPs, Nancy, is who's the horse to beat.
Right.
Identify the horse who's the beat. I don't like this horse necessarily dropping to 35,000. This horse, his best races are very much better than these in here. He takes a layoff, and now he's in for 35,000. That makes me scratch my head. So right off the bat to kick off Racing Festival of the South Week, I'm going to take a stab with a price here.
Love it.
Kontiki for Matt Shire, first off the claim for him. Comes off a third-place finish. You get Christian Torres, your leading rider, aboard. And I think this horse can improve. And sometimes I look for horses to improve off of good races, decent enough runs. They go to a trainer that does well and aggressively spots horses. Matt is one that will aggressively spot horses. So the fact that this horse was claimed for 20 and he's in for 35, I think that's a positive.
Yeah.
I think that means that Matt probably has seen this horse train and likes what he sees.
Well, I'm going to try to beat the favorite as well, but just to the inside with the number 5, Global Legend. This one coming from the barn of Mark Cassie, Ramon Vasquez in the irons. Does exit a 4th when racing off just a little bit of a freshening. Also the first time when taking on older company. Also got LASIK last out against much tougher non-2 for 50 I think this drop is going to be right where this horse needs to run, and races second off the freshening where the barn is 16%, and I'm thinking it's going to sit off of the early pace. So yeah, Matt and I both trying to beat the morning line favorite in the opener on the Friday card. Race number 2, also non-winners of 2, but for the claiming price of $12,500, it is for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, and they are going to go 1 mile and a 16th in distance. Matt, this is the first leg of the 50-cent pick 4. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts, same exact as the first. Let's try to beat the favorite here,
Okay.
Nancy. And I actually think, and I don't know if these are just morning lines that are a little off or they're good morning lines and they're just horses that are beatable.
Right.
I think there are a lot of favorites today that can
That
lose.
can be beatable.
I agree with that. So I'm going to try to beat this filly Evocation. Her last 3 races, she's gone off favored. She's run second every single time. With seemingly no excuses. 3 starts ago, she didn't have the greatest trip, but her last 2 races, just no excuses, and she's very much a plotter. So runners like these that are 1 for 16 with 4 seconds, I think the running style is why the record is the way it is, because she doesn't really have a kick, and sometimes horses that do will outkick her down the lane, and she's always around grinding along, picking up pieces, but she doesn't win that often. I'm going with number 7, Cara, who's dropping significantly in class out of an allowance race at Sam Houston. Never ran a step that day. She's in for 12.5. She was actually in the Grade 3 Houston Ladies Classic 2 starts ago, so they must have thought something of this filly, even though she was 66-1. The class drop, is it suspicious? Maybe a little bit, but she needs it here. And she stacks up with this field, but she's not necessarily much better than any of these, which tells me Ray Ashford's simply at this point just putting her in the right spot.
Yeah, so Matt's numbers are wrong on the screen. He is going to go with the number 7, Cara, on top, but I am going to go with the even money favorite. Didn't have a strong opinion about this particular race. Evocation comes from the barn of John Ortiz. Julian Leperoux back in the irons. Has been the beaten favorite the last 2 starts. In the last 3 actually, and get off some seconditis hopefully. Does race second off the purchase where the barn is 29% from a small sample, and I think from a pace scenario does look to be close to those early leaders today and get off of that seconditis. As Matt mentioned, 1 for 16. There's some professional non-2 in this particular field, so
sure.
We've got 1 for 15, 1 for 19. So I'm going to see if Evocation can finally get off the seconditis and get career win number 2. Race number 3 is for 3-year-olds and up. Maiden claiming $50,000 as the purchase price, and they're going to go 1 mile and a 16th, as we do have a field of 9 with just 1 first-time starter.
1 first-time starter, not really a surprise. This is a 2-turn race. So a Sandini, one that I'm going to try to beat watching his morning workouts for a couple of months now. Just looks like a horse that maybe still needs to figure things out. I'm going with number 4, Tyler's Turn. I'm intrigued to see what price we get on this horse. 8-1 on the morning line. I'd be very surprised if we got something close to that, but if we do, we'll be happy. Didn't show much speed last time out. Didn't break well, was far behind early on, just very sluggish, ran on for 5th, comes out of a race, very key race. 3 next out winners and 2 runner-up finishers.
That's huge.
It's huge. That means every horse that's coming back out of that race is running well, and that indicates a strong race. Second out for Kenny McPeak. He's always had better numbers just statistically with maiden second-time starters over first-time starters. We've seen him win with first-time starters plenty, but he also has that tendency to get horses to improve as time goes on. So I even think this horse can take a step forward today.
Steve Asmussen owns and trains the number 5, 7 Taylors. Eric in the irons races second off of a bit of a freshening where the barn is 21% and exits tougher maiden allowance when routing at Houston last go. So does come in second off that good, respectable 4th, pressed the pace early and was the beaten even money favorite, but was 3rd here in December against maiden 50. So does have a little bit of that number to go back to. Steve owns and trains this one, so he can place this one aggressively. So if he didn't think this horse was worth 50, it would definitely be in cheaper, and very consistent runner in the money, 5 of 9. So good one to use in your exotics. Race number 4 is for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2 races since September 28th, and they are going to go 6 furlongs in distance. We do have a field of 9 with Awesome Anne Marie, as she is looking for back-to-back wins.
She is, and she's been a good claim for trainer Chris Hartman, 8-year-old mare. She's been around the block, and she's going around the track again today. I like her in this race, coming off a neck win. I was a little bit not disappointed, for lack of a better term, in her finish last time because Tyler Bacon was riding her very confidently turning from. It looked like he had a ton of horse. And then he asked her, and she just sort of grinded to the line. She didn't have the greatest energy, but she still won the race. I think this is a little bit of a tougher field. She's in for $32,000, but she is 8 years old after all. They've made money with her. So off that run, I think Chris Hartman, knowing him, he is one that is going to put his horses in spots where they can win, especially an older mare like this who they've made money with, they've done well with. They're not going to try to get too picky. They're not going to try to get cute with this. So I'm thinking this is the right spot for her. Should get a good trip. And who knows, maybe Tyler Bacon, who rode her last time, thought he had more horse than he did. Maybe he learned something about her, and maybe this time out, maybe he'll be a little more aggressive. So there's also reason to believe that last race there, maybe Tyler did learn something to where he can get a little more out of her later.
Yeah. See, the 8-year-old is very consistent in the money, 57% of her lifetime starts, and she hasn't run for a tag since she joined the barn off of the $20,000 claim back in late November at Churchill. So they're putting her back in for the tag after that win. As Matt said, they've got her money back on her and probably will be reinvesting that money in the claim box. So super consistent nature and does look to sit off of the early speed. So a really good runner in Awesome Anne Marie, who is hoping for back-to-back victories in race number 4. Yeah, definitely think that's going to be possibly a lot of single on several people's tickets.
I think that's a possibility for sure, especially with that consistent form for a good barn, good jockey-trainer combination. Speaking of jockeys, I read that this is Tyler Bacon's last day with the bug.
It is no more bug weight for Tyler Bacon, so I don't think that's going to affect him in the entry box whatsoever.
I don't think so. I mean, he's performed. He's had a lot of wins, and I think in this business, look, we see that jockeys, when they lose their bug, it can be very challenging.
It can.
Because a lot of people ride the apprentice riders not because of their inexperience, because they have a little bit of weight off, and the trainers feel that's an advantage. But if you've got a jockey that's winning, and he's young, and he's improving, I think a lot of trainers here are going to give him a chance to continue on.
Yeah, and he's been rewarded with some really good opportunities, not only from Chris Hartman, but also from Dwayne Lucas, who he has won several races for, and also been given a few stakes opportunities as well. So, Tyler, best of luck with your journeymanship, if that's a word.
We'll call
journeymanship.
It
yeah,
we'll call it a word. I'll call the dictionary people and see if we can throw that in the
Racing Terminology 101, ladies and gentlemen.
We should make like a Racing 101 for dummies or whatever.
Oh, that's a good idea.
We could do like Racing Terminology for dummies.
I like
make
that.
A book.
We'll make and it will include more than just what you think you know. I'm sure.
And probably more than what we think we know.
Exactly. that on certain days, Matt, is not much for me. I will say that. Race number 5 is for 4-year-olds and up. They're going to go 1 mile and an 1/8 in distance. It's a dual condition, either non-winners of 3 or non-winners of a race since August 28th, and did have a scratch of the number 7, Lions Not Sheep.
Yeah, we're really starting to get into now bigger fields in the second half of the card. And looking at this race, I took Sunrise Drive. This is the least strongest opinion I have on the whole card. I do not have a strong opinion in this race. But Sunrise Drive cuts the claiming tag in half today. It says traffic at the quarter pole last time out. I took a look, was behind 2 horses that were weakening. Wouldn't have made too much of a difference in terms of position. But I thought this horse actually lost a little bit of momentum. Now you look at a bunch of horses in here that either, for example, the 1 and the 1A are coming out of $5,000 claimers at Delta. They're trying to step up. You've got a lot of horses that form have gone off, tailed off, and I think at least this one has been steadily running the same type of race and just needs a class drop. So if this horse can get a decent trip and run a steady type of race, then I think Sunrise Drive will be around at the finish.
Well, who does draw the rail because of the entries is the number 2, but we're breaking on that inside. That's Enjoy It Straight from the barn of Sean Williams. Christian Torres in the irons this afternoon. I love the stretch out for this runner. If you look back on his form, the last 2 times that he's gone 6 furlongs and then routed next out, that has produced victories. So love the stretch out for this specific 6-year-old. He does get some class relief after a 6th win racing off the layoff in mid-February to face open 12-5 runners. So he's just taking a little drop in class, but also in that condition. He's a 10-time winner in 25 starts, not shy of getting his picture taken. Second off the claim from a small sample size, the barn is 29%, and when racing second off the break, it's another small sample size, but a very impressive 43%. So definitely got a good feel of the Oaklawn surface last out. So I'm going to go with Enjoy It Straight from the barn of Sean Williams.
Started out in Golden Gate Fields when I called there. Enjoy It
You
Straight.
remember that horse?
Oh, I
All
remember
right.
him, and he is a cool horse. If you look at his record, he can run on dirt, he can run on synthetic. He was a very good synthetic horse a few years ago, and he can run on dirt, and he can also sprint and route. Can run
You
on
gotta
turf. He
love
can
that
do
kind of
everything.
horse.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and I thought it was a good claim when Sean claimed
Yeah.
him from California for 20,000. 10 wins from 25 starts, 5 other in the money finishes.
It's
He just runs.
impressive. Yeah,
He just
very
runs.
impressive.
And I like what you're saying, too, by the way. I don't mean to interrupt
No,
you,
you're
but
fine.
I do like what you say about that last race, maybe just to get him back on track,
Mm-hmm.
and it really sets him up for a good route race, because late in his career, it looks like he's a little bit better going 2 turns.
Yeah, and also, you know, you want to give a horse a start when they first start out of your barn, just to see what they're capable of and what they can produce. So now that he has decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and stretch him out, and I'm going to drop him in some conditions. So much luck to all our connections. But we're going to take a quick break here on this Friday Racing Festival of the South edition of Oaklawn Today. We'll be right back.
Experience the excitement of horse racing with Oaklawn Anywhere. If you're an Arkansas resident, you can watch and wager on horse racing from around the globe, whether you're at home or on the go, with any smartphone, laptop, or tablet, anytime, anywhere. Download the free Oaklawn Anywhere app and register for a sign-up bonus. With access to past performances, live video, race replays, and expert handicapping data, you're always in the know with no subscription fees. Bet online anytime with Oaklawn Anywhere, exclusively available to Arkansans. Right, Max? Oaklawn Anywhere. Our season never ends. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
The greatest week in thoroughbred racing, the Racing Festival of the South.
And here they come into the stretch of the Arkansas Derby.
And they're off in the Temperance Hill Stays. Mass Parade trying to reel him in. Classic Causeway. Mass Parade surging on the outside. It's going to be tight. These two hit the wire together.
And there is a look at the field for the Temperance Hill, which we will be discussing in just a few moments. Does include last year's upset winner, Mask Parade, who now races for the barn of Rob Atris. So we'll talk about that in just a few. But for now, let's get back to race number 6, as this is the first leg of the 50-cent pick 4, and it's for maiden claiming $12,500 for 3-year-olds and up, and they will sprint 6 furlongs in distance. And we have a full field of 12. Matt, something that you are definitely have gotten used to being here at Oaklawn.
And sign me up for every race like this. I love it. So we're going to go with Cat Storm, who coincidentally is owned by John Holloman, the owner of Mask Parade.
There we go.
Maybe John will have a good day today. Comes off a 3rd place finish off a long layoff, 17 and a half months. And now here he is in this spot for 12-5 once again. 2nd start off the break. I think this horse can run on and run an effective race. And maybe if he takes a little bit step forward off the long break, then maybe he can win this one. So I'm picking him.
I'm going to go just to the inside of Matt with the number 10, Chun Money. Matt's second choice, my top. We just flipped our top 2. Coming from the barn of Sippy Contreras, Manny Esquivel in the irons this afternoon, races 3rd off of the freshening and has posted an improved 6th last out. Yeah, you say, Nancy, that horse ran 6th, but it was against tougher maiden 30 and only beaten 3 lengths for the victory. So does look like this runner will be pressing the pace from the bell. So 3rd off the freshening, Sippy is 27%, and she also races 3rd off the, or he, excuse me, races 3rd off the claim, where the barn is a high 18% as well. So that class drop, especially in the maiden ranks, is significant with the number 10, Chun Money. I wonder what that means, because when you look, it's by Matoli out of My Lady Lauren. I wonder if that was somebody's name or a breeder, or sometimes you ever wonder that, like, how in the heck did they get that horse's name? It has nothing to do with the breeding.
I feel like it must be a play on words with Young Money.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. But
you kids in your lingo.
Yeah. Well, old money, young money, you know.
What?
Old money means a family.
Old money.
Well,
old
you come
money?
from a
well, I don't come from money,
no.
but old money, young money.
No,
right
young
there.
money means that you're sort of you're self-made. You make a lot of money. Old money means you come from a family that.
I got you.
So that's
got you.
not like age.
I come from old money.
Yeah.
I come from very old money. Race number 7 is for 3 and up, non-2 for the $32,000 tag. They're going to go a mile and a 16th, and again, a full field of 12, because the 12 is scratched ultimate strike, but does allow the 13 Sound of Victory to draw in the body of the field.
Yep, we got a full field here again. Ultimate Strike was my 4th pick, so you'll see just 3 picks on the screen here. I'm going to go with a pricing here, Rivalry. Off a layoff last time out, he was dropping in class, and he dueled on the lead at a very fast pace, and the race flow didn't set up for him well at all. He went off favored that day for 50 non-2. He's in for 32 today, so he's taking a drop in class, and there's not as much pace, I don't think, on paper at least, than there was in the last race. So I'm going to give him another go here. He's always been a good workhorse. We saw him last year run a couple of effective races against Allowance Company, so he's got some ability here, but things just need to work out for him. So I'm hoping Julian Leperoux can get this horse to the front, slow things down, and not go as quick last time as we saw, which it wasn't the rider's fault. Ricardo Santana was aboard last time out, but another horse just hooked up with him, and he's one that wants to go. So Ricardo didn't do anything wrong, but Rivalry, I don't think the pace is going to be quite as swift. I think the competition is easier, so at 12-1 on the morning line, that, if we can get something close to it, is perfect for me.
Yeah, Matt and I both trying to beat the morning line favorite, who's the 9 at 7-2, just tells you how competitive this particular field is. I'm going to go to the Kim Pool barn with the number 4, that being Freddie Mac. Rocco Bowen in the irons this afternoon was claimed 2 starts back when running 2nd at slightly tougher 35 non-winners of 2. That was also contested over the slop at 1 mile. So does exit the first off the claim, win a mile and an 1/8 against non-2 Allowance Company to split the field and run 5th. So back in for the beaten tag and shortens up just a little bit. I definitely like this horse, as he has tested deeper waters and kind of been right there, and also is solid at the distance in the money. 3 of 4 starts at 1.16 miles. So I'm going to go for 9-2 with the number 4, Freddie Mac, with my brother. Race number 8 is the Le Paturel Overnight Stakes. It is set at 1.16 miles. Fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up that have not won a sweepstakes in 2024, 2025, and scratch the number 2 and a little bit of history facts for you, ladies and gentlemen. Le Paturel was the family that owned the property where Oaklawn is today, and I guess there was a grove of oak trees, and they called it Oaklawn. So
Wow.
that
I
is
did not know that.
Yeah. So where we're thinking when all of these new overnight stakes came out, like, who is Le Paturel? Well, that was the original family that owned this property. So pretty interesting. It goes all the way back to the turn of the century. As we know, Oaklawn was founded in 1904. So that goes back in the day, I guess, when
Yeah,
they
you
were
talk about
when
young
they were
and
doing
old money.
Yeah,
That's a
right.
lot-
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
some
long
old
time
money
ago.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's when they were coming to the races in horse-covered wagons and buggies. That'd
Yeah.
be pretty cool
Little
to see.
chariots, horses,
Yeah,
bringing
I
people.
think that's so cool.
Yep.
So cool. So, Matt, what are your thoughts in the Le Paturel Overnight Stakes?
Well, the morning line favorite is In Just My Heels, who went on a streak her last couple of races. But last time out, she ran in the Tri-Vista. She was wide on both turns, far off, not a fast pace at all, on a track that was favoring speed. So this one runner, really, if you watch the replay, was the only one making up ground down the lane, galloped out with the winner. I'd scratch my head as to why the horse got that type of trip, really. But I'm hoping this time around she's going to be a lot more aggressively ridden to put her in a more forward position. Early in her career, she wanted to be on the lead. She learned to relax so she can stalk and run on and tag horses. But that last race really wasn't the type of trip we're looking for with her, especially with not a lot of pace. And there's not just an abundance of pace in here either. So if she can get a much better trip, she's a lot better than we saw last time out.
Yeah, and she certainly did not get any help breaking from the 11 of 11 post
No.
at 1.16 miles. That's a long way to go, and was wide going into that first turn. Certainly does look like potentially the one to beat. She is the morning line favorite, but I am going to try to beat her. I think the light bulb has gone off, or actually come on, I should say,
Yes.
for the number 3, Miss Hebrides. Kenny McPeak legging up jockey Julian Leperoux is looking for back-to-back wins, something she hasn't done yet in her career. She just scored a second-level allowance at 1.16 miles. I like the ground-saving post for her, and she really has taken well to the Oaklawn surface, winning a pair of allowance races and then a runner-up finish in between those. She was able to get the job done as the favorite last time, and the fact that she is a winner at the distance, I think she is in the zone and looking for some black type, which she is going to get today. Race number 9 is for maiden allowance, 3-year-olds and up, and they're going to go 1.16 miles as well. A lot of races starting from the front this afternoon.
Yes.
It's a great opportunity for our fans to get down right at the starting gate. Do have a scratch of the number 11 Pencil Bluff, which means still 2 first-time starters remain.
Yes, and one of the first-time starters, Super Cruise, I think very much can run. He's shown some ability in the mornings. I was a little bit surprised that he was in for a route of ground first out here for Ray Ashford, so that'll be interesting. But he has ability, and I am going to pick a horse that has experience, Lambo, in this race. 4-year-old colt, first time going long last time. He lost by a neck, dueled on the lead, and just got tagged late in the game. I like the angle second time routing. I don't think there's a lot of speed in this race. So I think Lambo, in a race where there are plenty of 3-year-olds as well running, newly turned 3-year-old just a few months ago. So even at this point in time, I still look, when you have races like that, at those older horses maybe having a little bit of an edge, Nancy.
All right, so right now I'm going to go with the number 3 Lambo as well. Matt, I think it's funny that you've got Lambo and La Bomba right back in the same race, and I was super impressed by going 2 turns last go. I like the second time routing, and also races third off of the extended layoff. So Lambo it is for me, and as Matt alluded to, does get the age advantage of 4, and they are just trying to. This was a $950,000 OBS purchase in March of 2023. So they obviously thought a lot of this Uncle Mo colt. So Lambo it is for me, hoping to get that high cruising rate that Lambos are known to do.
Yes,
I
Lambo,
would know
La Bomba.
personally because I've never been in a Lambo.
Okay.
Have you ever ridden in a Lamborghini?
No.
Ferrari?
No.
Rolls?
No.
Bentley?
No. I'm not very experienced with cars,
I
Nancy.
know you've been in a Benz.
I have been
I know
in a
that.
Benz
I know
plenty of
you've
time.
been in a
You know, I
Benz.
actually was in a Benz probably 30 minutes ago. So
There you
pretty
go.
great.
There you go. Click, click.
I know you've been in some nice cars, though. But not a Lambo, but some other
Not
nice
a Lambo, but I've been in some nice ones. Race number 10 is our feature on the afternoon. It is the 6th running of the Temperance Hill Stakes, and it is set to contest a 1.5 miles. It includes last year's upset winner, Mask Parade, who is not the morning line favorite. That has been assigned to the number 10, Sir Graylin. But it's interesting, Matt, Mask Parade, the last win came in the Temperance Hill.
It did. So he's looking to get that confidence booster. And I thought his last race going 1 1/8 off a little bit of a freshening. I thought it was a very good race from him. He got caught between horses down the lane and just was out finished. Didn't have the greatest trip that day. I think if he got a perfect trip, he might have been able to win the race. But he ran very well. I think it sets him up well going 1.5 miles. And I think he will run well here. Second off, a freshening for Rob Atras, but I'm going to pick a horse that's new to the very long game, as we call it the marathon game here. Lambeth is my pick. I thought his last race, yes, it came over a speed biased track. He dueled in the lead, but powered home to a nice win. He's by Arrogate out of a Tappet mare. There's a lot of route pedigree here and a lot of distance pedigree. So I think this is a clever move by Joe Sharp. He could run him in a second level allowance. Opts to run him instead, though, in this stake going long, and I think he's got a good shot. He can go to the lead. He can stalk and win. We saw him do that in a race in Indiana Grand in August, so he's versatile. And also, so I remember just as well as you all do, this will end at the 16th pole.
Yes, it will.
So
yes,
remember
it will.
that.
I'm actually going to go with the number 10, Sir Grayland. Has posted a pair of runner-up efforts. Two back was actually in the General MacArthur, and last out in a second-level allowance as the beaten favorite, and was able to overcome that wide post, the 9 of 9 last out, to get up for second. Was much further off the pace than he typically likes to be. He was actually spotted the field more than a dozen lengths early on after getting away slow and was swung out wide. So I'm thinking not too fearful of this particular post position, but given 1.5 miles, they got just, I think, enough run up to go in to that first turn to get the job done. So Kenny McPeak looking to have a very good weekend and start things off with Sir Grayland. Race number 11 is the nightcap, the 11 of 11. Let's talk Arkansas bred fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, maiden claiming of $25,000, and they're going to sprint 6 furlongs in distance, and 2 will be making the career debut today.
Yes, and I'm going with a runner with experience here, Pop's Reward. First time out, made an early move and flattened out in a State-Bred Maiden 50 race. Came back in a State-Bred Maiden special weight. This horse had a disastrous trip into the far turn, checked sharply into the turn, and by there the race was over for her. So I'm hoping third time out she's dropping in for 25. On paper she doesn't look great, but there are signs to indicate she fits with this field. She's better than what she's shown, especially last time out after that first career race. Last race I just cross out. I'm not concerned with the class drop. She probably needs it. Probably not good enough to win a State-Bred Maiden special weight anyway. I think this is a good spot for Pop's Reward with a rider who's riding as well as anybody right now, Francisco Arrieta.
Well, this is Tyler Bacon's last ride as a bug, and he gets aboard the number 6 Texas Sequoia for the barn of Brett Creighton, wearing the silks of Hope Farms Racing. Is going to cut back in distance after routing 1 1/16 last time. Also, when putting the blinkers on, this runner has been knocking at the door, posting a pair of thirds and then most recently a pair of seconds. So does get that cut back in distance where she is very experienced. Second time wearing blinkers and has been in the money those 3 starts at the 6 furlong distance. So I'm going to see if Texas Sequoia can get the job done in the 11th and final. And it is absolutely pouring down right now. I think that is going to be out of the system, hopefully by first post, according to the radar.
I'm going to take a look at that.
Fingers
right
crossed.
now
You
here.
look at the radar real quick. Give us an update. Our meteorologist on site, track announcer Matt Dinnerman, while I go ahead and take a look at our $20 show bet bonus parlay tickets, our long shot play of the day, and our top pick. Matt's going to start his $20 show bet bonus parlay in race number 3 with Tyler's Turn, then go to Cat Storm in race 6 in Just My Heels. as she is the daughter of a former Apple Blossom winner in race number 8, and Lambeth in the Temperance Hill. I'm going to start off race number 4 with Awesome Anne Marie, then Enjoy It Straight in the 5th, Miss Hebrides in the 8th, and Sir Greyland also in the Temperance Hill. Long shot play of the day, I'm going to go with Sippy Contreras with the number 10 in race 6, Chun Money, while Matt starts things off with Kontiki and Top Pick, sponsored by Oaklawn Anywhere. Matt goes In Just My Heels and race number 8, and I'm going to go Enjoy It Straight from the barn of Sean Williams in race number 5. Well, meteorologist on site, Matt Dinnerman, what are your thoughts?
Well, taking a look at the radar, it looks like we're going to have a storm coming through for the next hour to an hour and a half at most. But that should go right by us, and we should have lovely weather for the rest of the card.
And that should be perfect for infield activities later, hopefully in the day, and also the rest of the weekend. So thanks again for joining us on this Friday edition of Oaklawn Today to kick off the Racing Festival of the South. Matt's going to be heading up to the roof to give you the full set of changes, and you'll see me throughout the course of the day. So best of luck to you on this 11 race card for this Friday. Good luck.
still in the dead of the night. Although we both lie close together, we feel miles apart inside. Was it something I said or something I did? Did my words not come out right? Though I tried not to hurt you, though I tried, but I guess that's why they say every rose has its thorn. Just like every night has its dawn. Just like every cowboy sings a sad song. Every rose has its thorn. Yeah, it does. I listen to a favorite song playing on the radio. Yeah, the DJ said love's a game of easy come and easy go. But I wonder, does he know? Has he ever felt like this? And I know that you'd be here right now if I could have let you know somehow. I guess every rose has its thorn. Just like every night has its dawn. Just like every cowboy sings a sad song. Every rose has its thorn. Though it's been a while now, I can still feel so much pain. Like the knife that cuts you, the wound heals, but the scar, that scar remains. I know I could have saved the love that night if I'd known what to say. Instead of making love, we both made us separate ways. And now I hear you found somebody new, and that I never meant that much to you. To hear that tears me up inside, and to see you cuts me like a knife. I guess every rose has its thorn. Just like every night has its dawn. Just like every
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching and wagering on Oaklawn Park, the first day of our Racing Festival of the South this week. Folks, without further ado, we now ask you to please rise and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you can now get out your pens, pencils, and programs because we now have today's changes. Here they come. Our track condition listed as sloppy this afternoon. Sloppy track. A chance of light rain for the next hour or so, but the forecast indicates it will clear up. South winds coming in. Current degrees 70 Fahrenheit. Again, our track condition sloppy. 11 races on the card, and here come the changes. The first race begins the early pick 5 sequence. Scratch number 6, Storms Home. This scratch being announced for the first time, taken about 10 minutes ago. We are scratching number 6, Storms Home, from the first race today. Race 1 begins the early pick 5. In the second race on our program, we're clear, no changes in race 2. Race 2 starts the early pick 4 sequence. Also in the third race, there's no changes. We're clear in races 2 and 3. And over in the fourth race on our program today, no changes. Clear in races 2 through 4. The fifth race begins a middle pick 5 bet, races 5 through 9. Scratch number 7, Lions Not Sheep. Number 7, Lions Not Sheep, scratched out of race number 5. Also in the fifth race, there's an updated workout for you not listed in your past performance products. Number 10, Pizza Charlie had a workout here at Oaklawn Park on March 15th over a good track. 3 furlongs he completed in 37.80 seconds and was given a breezing designation. The sixth race begins the middle pick 4 wager. In race number 6, scratch the also eligible number 13, Winter Creek. Also in race 6, number 1, Cutting Class is 3 pounds overweight, and number 5, Spin the Cat, 2 over. The seventh race begins the late pick 5 wager. Scratch number 12, Ultimate Strike. Number 12, Ultimate Strike, scratched out of race 7. Number 13, Sound of Victory, draws into the race and will run. Race number 8 starts the late pick 4, the first running of the $145,000 La Paterelle Overnight Stakes for fillies and mares 4 years old and upward, going a mile and a 16th. In race 8, number 2, Penoir has been withdrawn. Scratch number 2, Penoir from race 8. Also in the 8th race, number 7, Mercy Warren is 1 pound overweight. In the 9th race on the program, scratch number 11, Pencil Bluff. Number 11, Pencil Bluff, withdrawn from race 9. Also in the 9th race, number 7, Money Game, has a workout not listed in your past performance products. He worked out here at Oaklawn Park on March 15th over a good surface, going 3 furlongs in 37.80 seconds, and was given a breezing designation. The 10th race is our feature today, the 6th running of the $200,000 Temperance Hill Stakes for 4-year-olds and upward, going a mile and a half. In race number 10, number 2, One Giant Leap, 1 pound overweight. Shattuck number 5 is 1 over. 7, Confidence Game, 1 over. 9, Red Run, 1 pound overweight. The last race is race number 11 today. In the nightcap, we're clear. No changes in race 11. Those are all the changes, ladies and gentlemen. 25 minutes until the first race. Enjoy your afternoon watching and wagering on Oaklawn Park. where the sun always shines.
My name's Tyler Bacon, and I'm from Crow Agency, Montana, and I'm 17 years old. I grew up on the Crow Indian Reservation. It's not a very big town. It's a little town with about 2 gas stations, so I'm not really much of a big city guy. When I was younger, my uncle Cody, he owned Indian relay horses, so I was around horses my entire life. Probably like 6, started riding ponies around with my friends, like around town on the reservation. They had little fairs, and on the weekends they run horses and Indian relays. The reservation I'm from, it has a little racetrack. I think it's about 6 furlongs maybe, but that's where I rode my first gate race actually. A couple days after I turned 16, that's right when I got my license, so it wasn't very long. As soon as I got to the track, they entered me up on some horses, and I galloped a few, worked a few out of the gate, and that was about it. When I first started riding in Fauner Park, my first win, that horse pretty much drug me around the track.
Southwestern Hope is trying to get home in the Fauner 6 and will get the job done.
I didn't whip him or nothing. I just guided him around there, and he took me to the winner's circle.
Congratulations to jockey T.W. Bacon on his first career win.
After Fauner, I went to Iowa and Prairie Meadows, started riding there, and my agent, Brian, he got a hold of me and he told me about Oaklawn, so that's when I came here and decided to ride here. I've had a lot of people that helped me out, like D. Wayne Lucas, Christian Torres. They've all been helping me out a lot. Every jockey wants to win the Kentucky Derby, so I think that'll be very cool. That's probably one of the races that I want to win.
At the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance, we believe in giving every thoroughbred a second chance.
And thanks to you, the owners, trainers, breeders, and every supporter,
You've created a ripple effect of change that's helping these magnificent animals move on to new careers and safe, fulfilling lives after racing.
Every single donation, whether big or small, is contributing to a brighter future.
But this race is just beginning. Because of you, we have gained incredible momentum and we're ready for more.
Ladies and gentlemen, please note we have a late scratch out of race number 10 today. In the 10th race, the Temperance Hill, scratch, the morning line favorite, number 10, Sir Graylin. Again, a late scratch out of race number 10, the Temperance Hill, scratch number 10, Sir Graylin from